Hi everyone. Vikas is the co-founder of, founder of BloqueLabs, and he's also the CEO of BloqueLabs, and he's the blockchain certificate partner for Unblock as well. And so happy to have you, Vikas. Please
Thank you.
take the lead. Floor is yours.
Thank you, Anupam. Thanks, and I hope the show is going very well till now. And just give
Thanks.
me a second, guys. I'm just doing some logistics done on my Dash laptop, and I'll be ready with sharing my everything. Okay, so yep. Okay, so let me share my screen uh, with you guys. Mhm. Uh, I just hope that everything is visible. Uh, is it, Anupam, for you?
It's on Vikas. All good.
Okay, thank you. Uh, Good evening, everyone. I'm going to talk about decentralized trust and reputation system, and I'm going to include few real-world example like which actually recently took place and was very interesting cases. And I'll also take some examples from DeFi perspective, like how these things can play a role now because there are a lot of artists, NFT, and trust, I would say, because there were recently few people were like making a lot of money on selling their NFTs, but other peoples are not like it. The common Pareto principle were taking place 80 20% of the people are taking away 80% of the revenue that people can generate from NFT, selling NFT. So this context, let me give you a small background, like why did I choose this context for this version of Unblock. The reason to pick this one was just try to give you this align the concept of identity reputation with the blockchain overall, because uh, what we see right now, uh, there are a lot of anonymous developers working and taking this you can say the ecosystem forward, and few goof ups also have taken place in the recent past, which actually also brought like a black dot on the overall DeFi and crypto or blockchain community as a whole. But it's happening since the inception of blockchain, and crypto has taken shape because there have been a lot of hacks things and which keeps on happening. But yeah, the context of this call, this discussion will remain around the reputation in the decentralized world, and how this whole reputation arises from the trust, and how can we actually leverage on top of that. So what's this? What's DTRS? So DTRS is a combination of a word called decentralized trust and reputation system. Decentralized means like, as we all are aware, but just to reiterate that there is no single centralized authority which is controlling the overall system. We want to make sure that it can be as decentralized as possible if we are making a new system and if we are conceptualizing a new system today. The second one is trust. Trust is always is context aware accrued information. Like I can make a statement that Unblock 2021 is an amazing event basis on the last 3 days of activity. So that kind of a trust that I'm putting in this event, right? And reputation system can be you can say that an inferred event from all these uh, ecosystem. So the last sentence, if I would say, the amazing word is actually the reputation of the event. If I would just remove the amazing word from this, it will become a very tasteless sentence. Like it's just an event. There is no reputation attached to it, right? If I would just add an amazing word, the reputation gets attached. So how simple words can actually play role, but eventually now we have to think that how these reputation becomes machine readable or machine interactable. Because I would say this, let's consider I as an entrepreneur, I'm doing something, and I do have some, let's say, good or bad reputation in the ecosystem. But how does this reputation can be leveraged where there is a world where only the numbers make sense? Because for machines, I can only pass on the information if it can be some numbers. So if you can understand the queue, I'm actually trying to point out this function, that this whole real world interaction should pass through a function, and that function should produce some numbers. So your reputation should be able to convert into a number. So for an example, Stack Exchange or other platforms which gives you, or your app ratings in iOS and Play Store, these are your reputation. So reputation is a very simple but very deep down kind of a aggregation of different perspective about you or your app, right? A 4.5 star or 5-star app is much better than a 2-star app. Of course, you can put the context in that, like, okay, you got 5-star rating of from, let's say, 2000 people, but you get 2.5-star rating from 10,000 people. So those are contexts that we have to attach. I just mentioned about the DTRS. Now let's understand, why do we need it? We need it because we need to take faster decisions. If I ever have two people, like, okay, I have to buy either an iPhone 12 or iPhone 12 Pro, Anupam would understand the context that we need to know what exactly the decision that we have to take. Like, we need to take faster decision, but how do we take faster decision? If there is some sort of a matrix, we go always for, because mind try to compare. So we would want to compare it with some sort of a rating, some sort of a basis which can actually differentiate the two things. And essentially we need to also have it to predict behavior. Now behavior in the sense is, like, let's say you're buying a washing machine or a drone which actually has some sort of a activity which it does. The reputation score can always let me know whether it does the intended work as it's supposed to be. So to predict that behavior, we can always leverage this. But there is a but. What constitutes of a reputation system? Constitution, the amalgamation of a reputation system involves few things. A claim, what actually is it all about? The second is source, who or what. Now, instead of who, why am I saying what? Because we are slowly and gradually going in the age where machine will also take place. So machines can also be an identity. So against whom this claim is being placed, right? So claim is one thing, like what it is all about, the statement, the source, what is the identity which is claiming it, and target, who is this identity for which this claim is being made. So three people. So let's understand it from an example. So the claim can be, I can say, Anupam is a smart person. And second claim can be, Sandeep assume that crypto will have bright future in India. By taking this information, if we can quantify them in a single number, then it can become a reputation about that, right? And your rating is an example. Your rating in an Uber app, it is an aggregated number explaining the behavior of both parties. It's not just about you, but let's consider you rate that particular driver and the driver rates you. So all these things are claims. Claims are always a context aware, should be context aware. That's the next pointer, that context should always be attached with a claim. That means we should always rate people in a certain context. Context means, let's say when you are interacting with the app and then you are rating that app actually has that context, that okay, this app is supposed to do this thing, it is doing phenomenal well, you will give it a 5-star rating. If it is not doing what it is supposed to do, you will give him 1 star or 2 star, right? So it's always about the context. Now let's take some recent example which actually just ruined the whole thing. I'll take the example of Chef Nomi. How many of you may or may not know about this thing? Okay, like I should ask this question, like, can I get an answer like very quickly? Does anyone know who Chef Nomi was? Can I get an answer, yes or no? Okay, I don't know, like there is a, okay, anyway, so this Chef Nomi this guy was actually an anonymous developer who actually came up with the concept of sushi swap. That was a pure ripoff of sushi Uniswap, but it was like they are doing much better now. But this guy actually took away $40 million worth of it actually, so Sushi Swap was first of all conceptualized and came in existence by an anonymous developer, just like Satoshi. Nobody knows who Chef Nomi was, but this guy actually created a very good replica of Uniswap, and it was an AMM, automated market maker. Read more about it, automated market maker, like what it is and what it is, what does it do. But Uniswap is an AMM, you can understand. But this guy, actually being an anonymous developer, he first of all did good job with SushiSwap, but later on, actually he took away $14 million worth of funds. But he took away when the when the SushiSwap was like high, like I don't know what was the price, but it was a very, very good price. And then once he took, almost dumped his coin on the community, he took away the $14 million thing. Some days were spent. The token value came down, and then he later come up with an apology and saying that, boss, okay, I'm returning these funds to the community back. And now these are the posts, these are the things. It's from his Twitter account. To everyone, I cucked up and I'm sorry. And I'm later on, actually this guy actually transferred the control of the Sushi Swap to this guy. There was a lot of news or gossip in the market that it was actually the CEO of FTX who was doing all of this stuff. But nobody can actually, the claim cannot be proven until unless we have a solid proof. Because of that, they could not do the, like, the claim could not be 100% proven, so nobody knows. But this is actually the corner case or the bad case of like reputation in the digital world. He was doing really, really well, but eventually he did actually, I don't know, he gave up to his greed or what, but eventually he did bring the wrong reputation to the whole DeFi community in last year. And this was a most talked event. This, if I would put this into the DTRS kind of a thing, this guy could have been very easily do a lot of stuff, still staying anonymized, because he was accruing good reputation. He has earned trust because he did really, really good code. But eventually, because of this whole thing, the reputation went bad. The trust was gone. The only problem with the reputation DTRS system in the decentralized world, because creating identity is so easy, because nobody knows you, you immediately go back and you start doing the similar stuff with your new identity. So we cannot track you, but this is just like this is just kind of a trade-off that we have. So I really wanted to bring this perspective also into the picture, because I could find only one bad example, but I think the most good example was like overall the ecosystem. We saw a lot of you can say replicas of code which these guys have done, and they continued to ship. Actually, they continue to ship, doing much better than Uniswap now in the GitHub activity. And yeah, this one example was very, very important for bringing you that how these things fare right now. These things might change in future, so that you essentially have to have some sort of a chain in the sense, let's say you come up with first identity, then it doesn't need to have any pre-existing identity. But let's say when you have a new identity, it might have some function which it derives some value from the previous identity. So let's say this Chef Nomi might have become, let's say, Chef Nomi 2. Chef Nomi 2 might have some element of Chef Nomi. So you will always identify, okay, this guy has some trail. But decentralized identity should not have that thing. So all these things are business trade-off. I would also take one example from Japan. Actually, what when you make context, what actually can go wrong. In Japan, there is this rule that you have to have a house to actually have a job. And then it becomes a chicken and egg problem, because you have to own a job, to have a house, you have to have a job, because you have to pay. And let's say if you lose a job and you cannot pay, you actually earn bad reputation, and then you again cannot find a job. So reputation should have very, very fine grained context for each sector. So let's say my reputation as an employee in my previous company either should have minimal impact in the next one, or should not have at all impact, let's say. So okay, so I'm actually taking my reputation from a 9-to-5 employee to an entrepreneur. I'm not saying to same as a let's say if I'm switching the company, from the company perspective, it's the same context that employee goes into another company, but still is an employee, right? So these two things are still relatable. But let's say you change the whole context. I became from 9 to 5 employee to become an entrepreneur. So these two things are completely different contexts because it require different things. So these contexts should have different reputation. They should not get mixed. So the again, one more example that I can take is lending borrowing case. If let's say in decentralized world I do not repay or I have some problem, but I'm saying this very loosely, but even repaying or taking loan in DeFi state, you have to have some collateral. So you cannot just be like, okay, I took the loan and I just vanished. So it cannot happen. But again, in the blockchain world, where reputation is still being, you can say, being, or you can say that taking shape as of now. So reputation is one area where a lot of innovation can actually take place. Because how do you carry the identity of your previous work if it is good, or how you do not want to carry of your reputation which is not good. Let's say you want to start with a clean slate. How do you do that? And we know, because there are a lot of AI avatars are coming, so changing this face is also not gonna be a problem. You can always have, as Balaji has quoted in a couple of tweets, that we are going in a, he called it some terminology, that we are going in a world where this transhumanism, I think that's what he's calling it, that you will, this identity will not have, has no real world. So digital identity, the face, the reputation, the whatever I'm speaking and all these stuff will not have any physical existence. Everything will be an AI driven stuff. And those AI avatars might have some reputation. So you can keep on discarding or keep on having, keeping them safe, the identities which are doing well versus the identities which are not doing well. So all of these things becomes super hot, super complex, super amazing when you go and think that where your AI avatars are doing, attending meetings for you, accruing reputation for you, and then you can always keep on saying that, okay, this worked and this did not work, and I want to keep this identity as my follow on events avatar to actually keep the reputation going. So I think that's where I would stop for this thing. The solution is always, for these kind of problems, is that never mix the context, because it will be really difficult for people. Try to keep a separate reputation score for a very specific activity. If I'm taking a services for one thing, we should rate them for that, and we should not try to infer other things from that. Context aware reputation will play an amazing role in Decentraland. Decentraland is a project where we actually have, it's not a paid one, but I'm just saying because of this digital world, we all can attend calls and do work from anywhere across the whole world. So it's actually getting decentralized now, and in those world, your reputation, how do you accrue on these platforms, will be very essential. So this is what the context is going to be. I hope that you can actually understand that what is the complexity lay in this thing. And I think I had a question here by Deepak, that do you think the investors will also look in this reputation system in future for funding, if they can develop something in the startup world that they can associate? Right now it's more of a reputation driven, but that reputation doesn't have any score right now. But let's say we can always have some context associated with it. Context can be metrics, that how these entrepreneurs are doing well. Let's say very crude metric can be, has this guy had a failed startup in the past, or a successful startup in the past, can derive their let's say funding decision for a startup. So it's always about like how and what matrices that we will derive for them, for the VCs, to actually raise these entrepreneurs, and then they can always have some let's say decision coming out from these matrices. So that's all. I think that's all I have for today.
Yeah.
Thank
Hi,
you.
Vikas.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for the talk. There's some questions coming in.
Sure.
Um, how do we prevent something, the debacle, Chef Naomi debacle in the future, and how can you be more aware as a DeFi investor from both the perspectives, from Sushi Swap and from investors' perspective?
So sushi swap thing, actually, as I mentioned, it was going good. It was going really, really amazing. It was kind of, I would call it, it was like Satoshi 2.0 kind of a movement, because that project picked it up all by itself, because it actually draw liquidity from Uniswap, and it created the concept, I think, of LP token was from that, I think. I'm not so sure, because I couldn't very follow very tightly the DeFi thing. But sushi swap kind of a thing, Chef Nomi kind of a thing, I don't know. That's why I put my concern right there. Like, it has some corner cases, because today I'm this personality, let's say, even on digital world, where AI avatars are also taking place. I can be a different guy tomorrow. So similarly, in decentralized world, reputation, sorry, the identity is very loosely. Two identities can be the same, pseudo anonymous, they can be same, but they are very loosely binded with each other. So I think it's very hard. No immediate answer for that. I'm so sorry, I don't know.
For both the sides, yeah, like
Yeah,
even from Sushi Swap's perspective and even from investors, makes sense, yeah.
yeah.
Right, right,
Yep.
yeah. Yeah. With the decentralized world, is just like pros and cons for both the things. But like you mentioned, because one point that you mentioned, which is interesting, is that you can
Mhm.
have some kind of metric from the debacle and then put it on the next version of like Chef Naomi
Yep.
2.0. But and then you also said, if a failed startup and then put it on that, like that, like you said, it's very harsh. But that's also not fair. What if Sushi Swap,
Yep.
like what if Chef Naomi has inherently changed like that? There is no way of knowing, right?
There is no way of knowing that.
Yeah.
It's just
But
it's just
to
like
have a better
it's
system, just to have a better system, we have to, I mean, I don't know, it is a very difficult spot, because
I
if
really wanna I really
yeah,
wanna add one small point here. Let's say Chef Nomi went through a phase of change of heart, and he became a really good person. Decentralized world actually is very benevolent from that perspective. It gives you
right.
a fresh start. But
Hmm.
in the in physical world, sorry, you are now you have a black dot on your reputation. You cannot go away with that.
Yeah. For instance, if Mark Zuckerberg had built the face swap thingy on decentralized world, then he probably wouldn't, if that spot that had gotten in, and then probably wouldn't, like Facebook wouldn't have happened. Like, I don't know, like
Sure.
as an example, as in like, if you do a bad thing doesn't mean you won't do good things in the future. I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's where I said, like, it has some good some trade off is always there. Uh, I think we all understood, but this, I'm really telling you, like, that's that much interesting this space is, because how do we solve these kind of things? I
Yeah.
don't know how do we solve, but I just started scratching the surface like from last 2 years. I really wanted to put a lot much research into that, but let's say, being in India, the crypto ban stuff, and then whole enthuse about this space was like dried down. So yeah, I think I have some reservation when it comes to, like, how do we actually have a foolproof system. So I don't have that. I think this space can be revolutionized.
Yeah. Great, Vikas. Just one last question. This
Sure.
question we've been asking all the speakers. What's your take on NFTs, and how do you look, from what lens are you looking at NFTs, and are they the new ICO, or are they the future of the decentralized assets?
Mm, I am super bullish on this, but I'm super bullish as long as people do not get really crazy. Because actually, do you know what, like, when people can do really simple thing with the technology, and technology takes a little bit of backseat, and people just have fun with it, I think that's where technology finds home. Right now people are actually having fun with it. I think NFT is the most understandable space and easy to understand space. Okay, I just have something really new, or really some GIF, some awesome GIF. I can actually put it up on OpenSea. I can put it up, let's say, Rarible. and I can simply just get or is it vent or sent? What is it like? What Jack put his Twitter upon? Cvent? What was that?
Not
The
sure.
platform. Yeah, so he recently used a Polygon powered platform. Again, kudos to Polygon, India's platform. So these guys are actually, so somebody built a solution on top of it, so you can put your tweets for sale. And Jack's first tweet on Twitter got sale. Justin Sun actually tried to give up to $2 million for that tweet as an NFT.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
I am out of the loop on this one. Yeah.
I know you actually you can excuse yourself because you are involved into this. So I'm
Yeah.
just giving you I'm just
Oh,
giving you
nice.
some heads up on
Somebody,
this.
somebody bought it?
Oh yeah. So they are actually they are doing this like they are offering more money, and the only rule for offering more money that you have to pay at least 20% more from the previous one. Justin Sun from Tron actually has put $2 million, and there is one more guy, I don't know his name, but that guy and this Justin Sun are actually overbidding them each other every time. So 2 million, then 2.5 million, and I think now it's, I don't know, crazy 3
Wow.
million.
Wow.
So NFT, I'm very, so personally I feel that this is first time when an artist are actually having the control. I have very deep down, on a very deep down, because I have a product in this space. I have researched this area. Artist community are the most suppressed community when it comes to giving them the benefit of their work. When your art, once it's sold, there is hardly any royalty comes back. But dude, if you are doing it on NFT, it's a nifty thing.
Yeah.
And if it is a nifty thing, you keep on getting the royalty. This is marvelous for an artist, and artists are buying it from. So there is a museum, not museum, sorry, I'm not I don't know what do we call it, but Christie is what we call it, uh,
The
the
the mammoth, like the art, the
yes, the
guys who art sell arts. Yeah.
correct. Yeah, these guys, Christie, they sell art. They have this conversation. So these guys are also exploring in all these cases. I think this is going to be revolutionary, and I think it's already revolutionary, because when a person can can sell their first tweet, or if it is really simple, people have to make technology simple, and I think NFT has found that home. I think I should stop there, right?
Yeah. Perfect. Like, great. Thanks for taking our time, Vikas. It
It's
always great to have you.
no
You
man.
like no matter how many conferences we do, you always a part of it, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All
Bye
right.
bye. Take care.